Remember to obtain the clearance of your physician prior to beginning any new exercise program. Consult your exercise specialist before beginning this fit and flexible program. Your health care or exercise specialist may recommend that you do some individually tailored preparatory exercises prior to practicing this balanced body program. Welcome to the Fit and Flexible program of Balanced Body Mat Exercises. I'm Elizabeth Larkam, dance medicine specialist in the Center for Sports Medicine at St. Francis Memorial Hospital in San Francisco. For 10 years, I have been working with these principles of rehabilitation and conditioning. This comprehensive video includes 20 mat exercises that have evolved from those developed over 70 years ago by Joseph Pilates. Since standards in the fitness and medical fields are continually being revised to reflect current research and clinical practice, the original exercises in this program have been modified to be in alignment with current principles of sports and dance medicine. You need no equipment, only an exercise mat for cushioning. Some of these exercises closely resemble yoga poses. All movements in the Balanced Body program are coordinated with breathing, with the natural rhythms and movements of inhalation and exhalation. This fit and flexible program is harmonious with the current trends in mind-body fitness. Each exercise is performed with heightened awareness of mental concentration. Value is placed on precision of alignment and control of smooth, flowing movement that supports and lengthens the entire body. In accordance with the principles of motor learning, balanced body exercises are initially performed at a slow to moderate tempo, allowing for accurate practice that is essential for neuromuscular re-education. All balanced body mat exercises have as a common goal the development of strength and articulation from the base of your pelvis up through your torso to your shoulders and neck. The exercises are designed to develop strength, stability, and functional movement of your torso. Practice of these exercises can help you to develop stability of your pelvis, trunk, and shoulders through integrated strengthening of the muscles of your pelvis, abdomen, lower back, mid-back, and shoulder girdle. In addition, you can develop articulation of your spine in forward flexion, in extension, in rotation, as well as in side bending. This improved structural stability and articulation can translate into increased comfort, ease, and grace in your daily activities and recreation. There can be aesthetic benefits in addition to the functional benefits of the balanced body exercises. The strength, stability, and articulation of your torso can translate into improved posture, more graceful carriage, and a longer, leaner look. You can use this video in several ways. First, it provides you with an introduction to the principles of the Balanced Body program and serves as an instructional guide to balanced body mat exercises. Second, you can use this video to augment the personal training or class instruction you receive from a fitness specialist. You can use it in conjunction with the book by Philip Friedman and Gail Eisen, The Pilates Method of Physical and Mental Conditioning. In this video, I use the names of the exercises as they appear in that book. Finally, the mat exercises included on this video can supplement your existing program of fit and flexible personal reformer conditioning exercises. Since the mat exercises do not require any equipment, it is convenient to do them when you travel. Here are some suggestions for how to use this instructional video for optimal results. First, position yourself comfortably and watch the entire video all the way through. Absorb the information. Do not try any of the exercises just yet, as mental rehearsal will help to prepare you for action. Next, discuss this program with your healthcare professional. Together, determine which of the moves are appropriate for you. Decide which ones can be beneficial to you now and which ones will be more useful later on. Then, watch the whole video again. Follow my instructions as you learn your exercises. You will then be ready to learn and practice techniques that further enhance the effectiveness of your exercise, and you can progress comfortably, safely, at your own pace. Plan to learn one new exercise each week. Allow yourself another 6 weeks to refine the exercises and develop familiarity, then mastery. Plan on at least 6 weeks of regular practice 3 times a week, 20 minutes a day in this program for maximum benefit. While you are exercising, use the following techniques to enhance your practice. Visualize yourself doing the exercises as you listen to my instructions. Talk to yourself, repeating some of the verbal instructions you learned from this tape. Use a positive, encouraging tone. Use your hands to help feel your body position and muscle tone. Place your fingertips on your lower abdominals to feel the concave and contraction of that area. You can place a hand at the base of your spine underneath your tailbone when you need to feel that area in contact with the mat. You can place your palms on your ribs, on your lower ribs, and feel this area descend as you exhale. You can place your hands over your hip sockets to feel the relaxed articulation of these joints. Move with patience, awareness, and pleasure in order to develop a sense of ease, comfort, and mastery over time. Value quality of movement rather than number of repetitions or excessive range of motion. Let's review how to progress. Gradually increase the repetitions of your exercises. Then gradually increase the tempo of each exercise, progressing from slow to moderate tempo without sacrificing the accuracy of movement, body position, and alignment. Gradually increase your range of motion, staying within safe, comfortable limits. And gradually increase the complexity of your exercises, learning more challenging variations. Warm up and stretch in preparation for each session of balanced body exercises. Raise your core temperature before stretching by walking briskly prior to exercising, and stretch gently and thoroughly for at least 10 minutes both before and after your exercise program. Make sure to check with your healthcare specialist before continuing, then join me to learn this balanced body mat program. Let's discuss the specific use of the abdominal muscles unique to Pilates mat exercises. You have several layers of abdominal muscle. The one just underneath the skin is the rectus abdominis. It spans from the pubic bone straight up through the torso to the base of the rib cage. The rectus abdominis is responsible primarily for drawing the rib cage down in the direction of the pelvis. It also is useful in a bracing fashion for protecting the abdominal organs. Then it contracts in a convex manner. Just underneath the rectus abdominis are the external obliques. They run at an angle this way through the torso, as if you were sliding your hands into your front hip pockets. Just underneath the external obliques are the internal obliques. They run at an angle to the external obliques, as if your hands were coming up this way towards your vest. The deepest abdominal muscles are the ones closest to the organs, and those are called the transversus abdominis. The fibers of the transversus abdominis run this way in a transverse fashion across your waist. The pyramidalis muscle is on top of the rectus abdominis. It spans from the pubic bone in a triangular fashion up towards your navel. When all of these abdominal muscles work in conjunction in a concave fashion of contraction, they can help assist your torso alignment by elongating your spine and supporting your pelvis on your rib cage. That looks like this when you lie down. Practice this with me now with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Feel your sacrum, the bones at the base of your spine, in contact with the mat. Keeping the plane of your pelvis parallel to the plane of the ceiling, inhale, and as you exhale, feel your lower abdominals draw in to meet your spine, and then up in the direction of the back of your waist. Inhale. Exhale, draw in and up to meet the back of your waist. This concave contraction of your abdominal wall can either be accomplished keeping your pelvis in a neutral position, like so, with your sacrum and your lowest ribs in contact with the mat, Or you can accompany this activity of your abdominals, this contraction of your abdominals, with a slight posterior pelvic tilt. And that would look like this. Inhale, exhale, draw in and up, and roll the back of your waist onto the mat. It will be useful for you to practice the concave contraction of your abdominal muscles, both maintaining your pelvis in a neutral position as well as moving into a posterior pelvic tilt. When you take this concave abdominal contraction in a seated position, it will assist in the elongation of your spine and the support of your torso. And that looks like this. Sitting with your ischium, the bones at your base of your pelvis, aiming right for the mat, you inhale, and as you exhale, draw your lower abdominals in and up to meet the back of your waist. Rather than letting your torso be collapsed and compressed this way, you use your abdominal muscles to help elongate the curve in your lower spine. When you translate this action to a kneeling or standing position, you intensify the effects of your abdominal contraction in order again to lengthen your lower spine. So you can see that the concave contraction of all the layers of your abdominal muscles not only assists in the support of your low spine, but has aesthetic benefits as well, giving you a longer, leaner look. You can practice these abdominal contractions by coordinating your movements with breathing. It's actually the natural movement and rhythm of inhalation and exhalation combined with the intensity of abdominal contraction that helps to make Pilates-based exercises so effective. Let's practice the breathing this way. In a seated position or kneeling position, place your palms on the sides of your ribs. Feel your rib cage expand wide to the side as you inhale. As you exhale, feel the entire circumference of your rib cage funnel in the direction of your pelvis. So you're drawing your rib cage closer to your pelvis without compressing your spine. Keep your total length and just bring the two ends of your abdominal muscles closer to each other. That will make it easier for you to renew this concave contraction of your abdominals. We're not asking that you keep your abdominal muscles rigid the whole time, flat. There needs to be a natural movement of expansion and contraction together with your inhalation and exhalation. And each time that you exhale, you renew your commitment to a concave abdominal contraction. Each time you exhale, you renew that current of drawing your muscles in and up in the direction of the back of your waist. When you're lying down, you can think of drawing the muscles, drawing the area from the base of your pelvis up out the back top of your head. So that's just an image to keep in mind. From the base of the pelvis, through the lower abdominals, out through the core of the body, and through the top of the head. Additionally, when you inhale and exhale, you can use the rhythms of that motion to help to organize your torso, your jaw, your throat, your sternum, and your ribs. Let's go over that now. Place your palms on the sides of your rib cage. Inhale wide to the side. As you exhale, relax your jaw and your throat and the base of your tongue. Let your sternum, this front bone at the front of your rib cage, let that area move in the direction of your pelvis. It's as if your sternum could soften or yield. Inhale again. As you exhale, relax your jaw, your throat, let your shoulder blades drop onto the mat, and your sternum move towards your pelvis. Your ribs are funneling in the direction of your hip pockets, and your abdominals are activating in and up to meet the back of your waist. Now I know that's a number of things to do on one exhalation. It actually takes longer to say them than for you to do them. But I'll do it with one more voiceover so that you can practice the sequence of events. Here we go. Place your palms on the sides of your ribs and inhale. Exhale, relax your jaw, your throat, your sternum. Let your shoulder blades drop onto the floor, your rib cage funnel towards your pelvis, and finally, draw your abdominals in and up in this concave fashion. And all of that happens before the count of 1 on each of those Pilates exercises. In exercise 1, called the 100, you will practice coordinating your concave abdominal contraction with breathing. Roll gently from your side onto your back. If you feel that you need to have a cushion or a towel underneath your head to elevate your head a little bit, feel free. Feeling the back of your rib cage and your sacrum in contact with the mat. Inhale. Exhale with your fingertips pressing into your lower abdominals. Draw one leg to your chest without letting your torso buckle up off the floor. Put your palm behind your thigh, and now continuing to contract your abdominals in a concave fashion, keeping your lowest ribs on the mat. Also, fold at the other hip joint and bring your knee to your chest. With your palms on the backs of your thighs and the front of your chest open, inhale. Exhale, relax your jaw, lower your shoulders, and take the longest possible arc with your head, neck, and shoulders coming up off the floor and your gaze in the direction of your kneecaps. Inhale now. And as you exhale, lengthen your legs. Don't straighten them, but lengthen them in the direction of the ceiling. Use your arms to help support your head, neck, and shoulders here. Inhale. And exhale, and inhale. Each time you exhale, look down at your lower abdominals and notice that you're renewing your commitment to that concave abdominal contraction. When your neck gets tired here, rest. Roll down your spine and rest. That would be our first version of the 100, so called because if you inhale for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts, 10 sets, you would have exhaled and inhaled for 100 breaths. The second version of the 100 would be like so. You would start the same with your palms on the backs of your thighs, and you would roll your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat with your gaze in the direction of your knees. Next, you would lengthen both legs, almost straight, but knees not locked. And gradually, as you feel comfortable, you can lower your legs slightly in the direction of the floor. Now put your gaze on your lower abdominals and make sure that they are still contracting in a concave fashion. The moment that you feel your lower back start to be pulled up off the floor to arch this way, you know you've gone a little too far. So you need to bring your legs up higher and bend your knees. Let's take that version through from the very beginning now. Inhale, exhale, contract your lower abdominals, knee to your chest. Contract again, other leg to your chest. Exhale, roll your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat. Lengthen both legs, lower your legs just slightly, and inhale, exhale. Inhale, Exhale. Before your neck gets tired, relax your legs and roll down. One option for helping to support your head on your neck and taking care of neck tension will be to take the same shape with your torso, but just use one hand behind your head to support your head on your neck here. The final version of the 100, the most advanced version, would look like this. You would start the same way, lengthen both legs completely, and lower your legs all the way in the direction of the floor until your toes are even with your gaze. Then you inhale, exhale, and inhale, and exhale. If you wish, you can vary your arm position so that for the inhalation, your palms press up in the direction of the ceiling, and on the exhalation, you rotate your palms down towards the floor. This has the effect of keeping your shoulder area from getting rigid, and you can widen across the front of your chest, palms up, and widen between your shoulder blades, palms down. Inhale, concave abdominals, exhale. To finish this, bend both knees, roll your shoulders, neck, and head down to the floor, and lower your feet to the floor. You can build towards doing the 100 exercise for 100 breaths, inhaling for 5 counts, exhaling for 5 counts, up to a total of 10 cycles. Exercise 2, called the roll-up, works on the development of spine articulation in forward flexion. You'll start on your back, arms by your sides, and legs extended even with your hip joints. Inhale. As you exhale, relax your jaw and your shoulder blades. Lengthen your fingers in the direction of your toes and take the longest possible arc with your arms in the direction of the ceiling. Pause with your fingers even with your lowest ribs. Inhale again. As you exhale, let your shoulder blades drop onto your mat and continue taking your arms in an overhead arc. As your arms go overhead, you use your intercostals and your upper abdominals to keep your ribs collected with your pelvis. Don't let your rib cage bow up off the floor in the direction of your arms. Instead, we're interested in this kind of tubular contained shape. Inhale here. Exhale, lower your shoulders towards your hips and towards the floor, and continue with this arm arc coming even with your lowest ribs. Inhale, ears between your upper arms, reaching further towards the ceiling with your fingers. As you exhale now, flex your feet and starting at the base of your pelvis, draw your lower abdominals in concave and curve all the way forward, fingers reaching in the direction of your toes and navel drawing in and up to meet the back of your waist. So here you are being pulled in at least 2 directions at once, forward this way and back this way. Maintaining this shape now, you curl back down your spine, lowering your shoulders away from your ears and drawing your navel up underneath your rib cage. Palms descend in the direction of the floor. Inhale as you lower your legs, your feet. Exhale, arms front of your lowest ribs. Inhale, shoulder blades drop down on the mat and arms go overhead. Inhale here. Exhale, ribs descend, arms come forward. Inhale, ears between your upper arms. Exhale, roll forward. Inhale here. Exhale, roll down your spine. When you're first beginning this exercise, it's wise to help yourself up using your palms behind your thighs. Let's take that variation like this. Inhale. Exhale, arms front of your lowest ribs. Inhale. Exhale, shoulders down, ribs collected, arms overhead. Inhale and stretch your entire length. Exhale, bend both knees, slide your feet along the floor, bring your palms to the backs of your thighs, and using your arms like training wheels here on a bicycle, you help yourself roll up, and then you can stretch forward. On the way down, bend your knees, put your palms behind the backs of your thighs, and roll down your spine as if you were painting the yellow line on the highway. Exercise 3, called the rollover, works on spine articulation and hamstring stretch in trunk flexion. Once again, you start on your back. Extend your legs in line with your hip joints and have your arms by your sides. Let's take this gradually from the least stressful variation to the more advanced. Inhale. Exhale. Check your abdominal tone as you bring one knee to your chest. Inhale. Exhale the same on the other side. Place your palms by your sides now and lengthen both legs slightly in the direction of the ceiling, but keep your knees bent. Using your palms to help, draw your lower abdominals in and move your ischium, the bones at the base of your pelvis, up along the ceiling. So you'll draw in your lower abdominals, press on your palms to help you go in this direction, just to a shoulder, weight between your shoulders here. Don't go so far that you have weight on your neck. So between your shoulders, if your toes reach the floor, that's fine. If not, they'll stay a little above the floor. You open your legs, and then you roll down your spine, drawing your lower abdominals concave and easing your back onto the floor. Bend both knees, extend one leg out, extend the other leg out, and bring your legs together. Once again, that variation. Inhale. Exhale. One leg comes up, other leg comes up. Both legs extend slightly. Contract your abdominals and peel your spine off the floor, bone at a time. Open your legs a little bit, just so your knees are about shoulder width apart, and roll down your spine. Equal weight on both sides of your back. Bend both knees. One leg slides out, other leg slides out, and close. To take this to the next stage, you would exhale and draw both legs to your chest simultaneously. Lengthen both legs up and roll your spine off the floor. If you're comfortable here, having your toes touching the floor, that's fine. If not, the priority really is to have the weight between your shoulder blades and avoid stress on your spine, your neck. Open both legs, and then keeping your legs long, you roll down your back. Again, bend both knees and slide them out. After you've practiced 3 repetitions of this version of the exercise, when you start with your legs together and finish with them apart, you'll take it in the reverse direction, so that you start with your legs apart, roll over with your legs apart, and then close them before the return trip. As with all of these exercises, the priority is on the organization of your torso, your lower abdominals drawing in up to meet the back of your waist, your shoulders open and down. Eventually, you'll practice 3 repetitions of each version of the exercise for a total of 6. Exercise 4 is called single leg circles. In this exercise, you work on the development of trunk stability and hip articulation. In this exercise, when you're lying on your back, you're using the movement of your leg to challenge the stability of your pelvis and your ribs and your shoulder girdle. First, we'll start with very small circles of your leg. You will have both knees bent and the soles of your feet on the mat in line with your hip joints. Stand on your left foot and the whole left side of your torso. Draw your right knee to your chest, keeping your lower abdominals concave. Do that on an exhalation. Now, lengthen your leg and let your bones rest in your joints. It's as if you had a piece of fishing line wrapped around your big toe and suspending your leg from that line attached to the ceiling. Now you take very, very small circles, stirring your thigh bone in your hip joint. The idea is to do these small circles in both directions, feeling the change of pressure of the back of your pelvis against the mat. Awareness to these small movements of your pelvis will help you when we do the larger circles of your leg coming up next. Practice this also on the other side. Then you'll take the second version of the circle in which you have your leg longer in space, straightening through your knee. This time, place one hand under your rib cage on the standing leg side. Place the other hand at your hip joint. Keep the back of your rib cage in contact with this hand the whole time. This is your self-monitoring device. With your hand at your hip joint, press slightly in the direction of your tailbone, this way, to avoid letting this hip rock up like so. Now, you will take your leg slightly across your body, in the direction of the floor, out to the side and up. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. What you're watching for and feeling for are the following. You're watching to see and feeling to see that this leg stays steady on the mat and doesn't follow the other one. You're also feeling and watching to see that your rib cage stays in contact with your hand even when your leg is out here to the side. The tendency would be to roll over in the direction of that leg. Instead, you'll need to use your oblique abdominals, your transversus abdominis, a little more intensely here to help keep your trunk stable as your leg moves. Finally, you'll do this exercise with your supporting leg extended, and you can either keep your hands where they are for self-monitoring or take your arms out to the side on a diagonal from your torso. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Some people are more comfortable with their knee slightly bent and their leg more relaxed as they circle. These circles are also done, all variations of them are done with the legs circling the opposite direction. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale. Throughout these leg circles, be aware of the potential serenity of your upper torso. Let your shoulder blades drop onto the mat and the front of your chest be wide open here. It's important not to get tense in the upper torso, just to increase the range of motion of your leg. Exercise 5 is a fun one. It's called rolling, and in this exercise is one of your few opportunities to use momentum. Let's try it. Sit with your knees bent and your heels close to your pelvis. Put your left hand on your right ankle and your right hand on your left wrist. Open your knees just slightly so that you can curve forward and put your cheekbones between your knees. That's the intention of where we're going. They don't have to be there, but you have the intention of cheekbones between your knees. In order to get there, start by drawing in your lower abdominals in a concave fashion and taking the longest possible curve up and over this way and forward here. Shoulder blades are sliding down your rib cage. The front of your chest is wide open. Rock back just slightly so that your toes come off the mat. Now in this exercise, it's especially important what you think. Rather than thinking of rocking back, think of rolling your hips up towards the ceiling, like so. Exhale to roll up to a shoulder stand. Inhale to roll forward. Get that out of the way. And let's take this again. Exhale to roll up to a shoulder stand. Inhale to roll forward. What we're interested in you learning to do here is to control the momentum of your roll so that you avoid putting weight on your neck and head. Don't do that. And avoid putting weight on your feet. Instead, you're going to be rocking between your sacrum and your shoulder blades. Now, to control this momentum requires additional concave contraction in a curve with your lower abdominals and more tone in these cheeks right here. So it's a matter of 3 hands clasping together at the base of your pelvis and right into your lower abdominals. And those areas work together to help put on the brakes at the top of your roll and the bottom of your roll. Exhale to roll up to a shoulder stand. Inhale to roll forward. Exhale and inhale. There's a tendency here also for the shoulders to rise. Instead, continually use the muscles at the base of your scapula to draw your shoulder blades down your back like feathers coming down a bird's back. After you've done your repetitions, maybe 5 with your left hand on your right ankle, change hand positions. Put your right hand on your left ankle and your left hand on your right wrist. Exercise 6, called the single leg stretch, is for the development of pelvic and scapular stability. In this exercise, you'll use the movements of your legs to help challenge your ability to keep your abdominals concave and your scapula steady. You'll be on your back, legs extended and arms by your sides. Inhale. Exhale, organize your lower abdominals, your ribs, and fold at your right hip joint, sliding your right foot along the mat until your right thigh comes in the direction of your torso. Put your left hand on top of your right shin, just below your right knee. Inhale. Exhale, let your shoulder blades drop on the mat and slide towards your hip joints. And roll your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat in the longest possible curve here, longest possible arc, and then put your right hand on your right shin just above your right ankle. Aim your elbows wide to the side and use the strength of your arms to help bring your torso up a little bit off the floor. So you have the back of your waist on the ground, but your lowest shoulder blades, the lowest part of your shoulder blades will be just off the mat. Inhale. Exhale, aim your gaze in the direction of your lower abdominals and lengthen through your extended leg as though you're pulling your leg out of your hip joint, and let your leg hover just off the floor so that your toes are about on the same level as your eyes. Inhale here. As you exhale, exchange leg positions. Inhale, change. Exhale, change. Inhale, change.
exhale, change. Now this looks like a leg exercise, and in a way it is, because you are drawing your quadriceps into play here to draw your kneecap towards your hip joint. So you are contracting your quadriceps. But even more than the leg motion, what is most important here, what's paramount, is the stability of your pelvis, assisted by your abdominals drawing in and up in this concave direction. Using your opposite hand on top, just below your knee, helps to keep your thigh in parallel. If you use the same hand as your knee, there's a tendency to pull out this way and for your pelvis to be more unstable. So use the opposite hand here to help brace your thigh. It's as if you had a mermaid's tail and you took turns sliding one leg at a time into that mermaid's tail. One more note here regarding the position of your neck. Take the longest possible curve for your cervical spine here, rather than focusing on a very extreme form of neck flexion this way. It's a little gentler, a little bit of a longer line. If you had an elongated circle this way. Exercise 7 is a double leg stretch. You'll recognize the same pattern from the single leg stretch. And this exercise is a more intense challenge to your pelvic rib and scapular stability. Once again, you start on your back, legs extended, arms by your sides. Inhale. Place your hands on your lower abdominals. Feel that area draw concave and intensify that intention of your concave abdominals as you bend both knees and slide both feet along the floor, drawing your thighs to your torso. Now put your hands on top of your shins, about the middle of your shins. Inhale. Exhale, shoulders open and descend. Contract the muscles of your pelvic floor, your abdominals. Funnel your ribs towards your pelvis and roll your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor in the longest possible curve. Have your gaze aiming at your kneecaps. As you inhale here, you'll extend all four limbs straight up towards the ceiling. And then exhale and open your arms and your legs away from center till your feet come about to eye level and fold right in. A common error here is to extend your torso at the same time that you extend your arms and legs. Instead, keep this current of curve going. So it's as if you were going to keep your eyelashes in the same place and space. Your torso stays in this curve while your arms and legs extend. Not back this way, right here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. As your legs descend, also feel your lowest ribs descend onto the floor. Don't let your rib cage come off the mat, like so. If you find that your abdominals are able to outlast your neck strength, feel free to take a couple of variations that can help to support your neck and head. One would be the following. When you're taking the double leg stretch, keep one hand behind your head and take the other hand and arm around. The other alternative is to take both hands behind your head and support your neck in the way that's most comfortable for you, and take just your legs descending as you can manage, and then bending in this way. Exercise 8, called spine stretch, is a seated forward bend. Position yourself in the middle of your mat and extend your legs so that they are just wider than your shoulders.
You'll be I have a triangular base here, and it's important that you be able to sit squarely on your ischium, the bones at the base of your pelvis. If you find that this is an uncomfortable position for you and that your body tends to assume more of a curved position here rather than a more erect one, take some additional height underneath your hips. You could do that by folding several towels and sitting on them, or if you happen to have a mat that folds, just fold the mat up and then you can sit on that additional height here. So with feet just wider than your shoulders and positioned on your pelvic bones this way, start with your hands, palms on the floor, just outside of your hip joints. Inhale here. As you exhale, renew your commitment to the concave contraction of your abdominals in order to support the curve of your low spine. And as you exhale, let your shoulder blades slide down your spine and slide your palms out on the floor. Keep sliding until just your fingertips are touching. Inhale here. Exhale, lengthen your arms further till your fingertips hover off the floor, and then reach your arms out of your shoulder joints this way. And pause with your arms extended just below your shoulders and just forward of them. So your arms will be just a little forward. That's to keep from jutting out back this way. All right. From here, without losing any of the length of your torso, fold at your shoulder joints and bring your arms forward in a V till your fingertips are resting on the floor. This whole action here of your arms, widening your torso this way and then increasing the length of your torso, is accomplished with that continuous support of your abdominals and your pelvis. And here, inhale, expanding the whole circumference of your rib cage. As you exhale, contract the muscles of your pelvic floor and take the longest possible curve forward, sliding your palms on the floor and roll forward this way. Palms up. Inhale to come up to vertical, stacking your bones. And exhale, it's as if you were going to go up and over before going down. That carnival ride called the zipper, that's the shape you want to make. Up and over. It's as if you were going to dive down inside your shirt or your leotard without sacrificing the dimension of width here. So it's drawing up this way, over the top, down the front. Shoulders are still wide and shoulder blades are down. Curving forward here. Again, this going several directions at once. I'm sure more than two by now. You're drawing up and back this way, down and forward here. And it's very important to maintain this shape rather than distort the shape into this one. We're not going here, but more abdominals are curved up and in. Inhale to come up. Exhale. And inhale. It's as if your nose were going to go back in the direction of your tailbone. Nose towards your tailbone here. Not chin towards the floor. Inhale to come up. So this is as much as for spine articulation and stretch of the muscles of your torso forward as it is for the abdominal support. Exercise 9 is more of a balance exercise. It's called the open leg rocker, and we'll work on spine articulation in flexion. Part A will be the balance part, and Part B more of the work with momentum as we used before in rolling. Let's see, if your mat is folded now, or if you have a height underneath where your hips used to be, get rid of that. And sit on the forward part of your mat because you'll be rolling backwards. Okay? As in the rolling exercise, activate your abdominals
and roll your pelvis backward just a bit so you can balance on your sacrum. Have your hands on top of your ankles. Have your toes hovering off the floor. Knees are just wider than your shoulders. Inhale and lengthen your legs. They don't have to straighten, but do lengthen your knees. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, like many Pilates-based mat exercises, this requires a coordinated combination of strength and flexibility, strength, control, and range of motion. It also works more readily for some different body proportions than it does for others. So find the position which is most comfortable, most reasonable for you. It may be that having your hands on your ankles is not an easy possibility, so feel free to place your hands on your shins here or on your calves if that's more comfortable for you. What we're interested in is you being able to maintain this position of your pelvis and of your spine as you open your legs about shoulder width, then you close them together, then open, and then come down. And as usual, we're interested in more than just one expertise. We're interested in your being able to stay wide across the front of your torso and to keep your shoulders stable on your rib cage. So the movement occurs at your hip joints and not at your shoulder joints and neck. All right, moving on now and taking this shape into a roll, we're going to use some momentum. Inhale, exhale, and roll up to a shoulder stand. And inhale to come up. Almost, okay. Exhale, inhale. As before with the rolling exercise, don't go all the way to your neck and head here, but instead stay suspended, taking your pelvis up towards the ceiling, and then return here. As you could see from that almost unsuccessful attempt, this is an integrated coordination of the use of your abdominals together with your gluteal muscles, the muscles of the backs of your legs. Exercise 10, called spine twist, is another seated exercise that works on trunk rotation. Many of the principles that you practiced in the seated spine stretch will hold true as well also. If you'd like some height underneath your pelvis, fold the mat again or place some towels underneath your hips. Sit with your feet just wider than your shoulders and have the backs of your heels in contact with the floor. If you'd like to straighten your knees, and if it's comfortable for you, do that and activate your quadriceps, drawing your kneecaps towards your hip joints. Again, refresh your ability to sit on your ischium here, neither forward nor back, and place your palms just outside of your hips on the floor. Use your lower abdominals. Even contract the muscles at the base of your pelvis, your pelvic floor, and draw them in and up to meet the back of your waist so that your lower spine is, this curve in your lower back is elongated. It's not exaggerated forward, neither is it obliterated. It's just supported, lengthened here. Shoulders, the front of your chest is wide, open, your shoulders are down your back. Inhale. Exhale again, slide your palms out along the floor, slide your fingertips out along the floor, slide your arms out to the side in space till they come to rest just below and just forward of your shoulders. Now, without compressing your spine at all, without losing any length of your trunk, fold at your elbows and clasp your wrists, one hand to the opposite wrist. In this position now, anchor your ischium, the base of your pelvis, on the ground, and exhale, lengthen your torso and rotate. Keep your wrists right in front of your lowest part of your sternum. Each time you exhale, renew the anchoring of your pelvis to the floor and rotate a bit further, keeping this relationship. Inhale, exhale, and rotate. As you do this, it's as if you're wringing out your torso from the inside. The core of your torso is being rotated. There's a tendency, of course, to lift the back hip off the floor. Instead, sit down there with it. There's a tendency also to close the back shoulder. Keep it open and down. When you get around about as much as you feel you're going to, I'm cheating madly here, sorry. When you get around as much as you feel you're going to, then open your arms, exhale, and continue the rotation, neither leaning backwards nor forward, just going straight up. Exhale and rotate. When you feel you're not going to go any further, then take the back hand, or take the hand which you're facing, turn it upwards and rotate a little more, pressing your shoulders down and renewing your commitment to sitting up, bringing out your torso. Then bring the whole shape back to center and change your grasp here. And take the other side, exhaling, keeping this relationship to your sternum, lengthening your arms, turning one palm up and rotate. Come back through center. Exercise 11 is called the swan. It's the first exercise that we're going to introduce in this series in which you use your spine in extension. Open your mat. And finally, it's time to be on your front. Have your palms on the mat at your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Even though you can't see it, maybe you'll be able to feel it. Feel your lower abdominals drawing in and up to meet the back of your waist. The front of your pelvis, the bones of your ischium, the bones of your ilium are intending to be in contact with the mat, and your pubic bone is also. But lift your abdominals up as if your navel weren't going to be able to touch the floor. Exhale, shoulders descend down your back. And slide your gaze along the floor, along the wall in front of you. And come up with your spine as much as you can, keeping your lowest ribs in contact with the mat. Inhale. Exhale, continue your gaze sliding up the wall. Press your palms into the mat. Keep lifting your abdominals. Don't let this happen. Keep lifting your abdominals so the back of your waist is long and supported here. Come as high as you can, keeping your elbows bent here. Inhale. Exhale, your gaze slides along the wall, slides along the floor, and comes back to rest on the floor just in line with your nose. Inhale. Exhale again. Press your shoulder blades down your back and take the longest possible arc with your spine, lifting your navel up off the mat. Come just to here, lifting your navel up off the mat even more, and come up higher. If you can keep the shape of your spine and extend your arms at the same time, that would be fine. What's important here is that you keep your abdominal support when you press up. It's not all right to let your back sag and let your shoulders come up like this. From here, again, you descend this way. Finally, if you'd like to go further and add some momentum, the exercise would look like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And from here, you will rock forward and press up. Rock forward and up. Keep your gaze forward to the wall in front of you. Don't let it become what I call an orthodontic special by pressing your teeth to the mat. Keep them forward. As you do this, it's again a coordinated effort with your lower abdominals and your gluteals, the muscles of your hamstrings here. So really, all the muscles along the back of your torso and your legs
are active.
After you finish this exercise, you can press up to a kneeling position, lift your waist in the direction of the ceiling, and you may, if you wish, lengthen your torso so that your hips go in the direction of your heels. Exercise 12 is another seated exercise. It was named the SAW, and I'll explain why that is in a moment. It's a seated spine articulation exercise that works on rotation and forward flexion. Like the other seated exercises, you may wish to have some height under your pelvis. You'll set yourself up in the same way as before. Legs straight, just a little wider than your shoulders, backs of your heels in contact with the floor, and as much tone as you'd like to maintain in your quadriceps. Again, you place your palms on the floor just outside of your hips. This exercise involves many of the principles you did with the forward flexion here for the spine stretch, as well as a lot of the principles you used in the rotation exercise. We're going to combine forward flexion with rotation to look like so. Inhale, exhale, slide your palms along the floor, slide your fingertips along the floor, reach your arms out wide to the side, and from here you will rotate so that your torso faces one leg and your arm is parallel to the other. Now from here you're going to rotate further and curve forward. It's as if this little finger were going to saw against this little toe. Furthermore, it's as if this ear were going to listen to this hip joint, like so. Rotate, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, just before you curl forward, give extra strength to your abdominal lift here so that you can help keep the bones of your pelvis, I should show the other side, so you can help keep the bones of your pelvis on the mat. It's a tendency always to let this side hike up, keep anchored here. There's another tendency to take the exercise as a forward stretch this way rather than a curve this way. In addition to requiring strength of your lower abdominals, this gives particularly nice stretch to the area of the quadratus lumborum, the muscle that goes between the base of the pelvis and the top of the pelvis and the base of the rib cage here. This arm can be towards the ceiling as much as possible and palm aiming towards your front foot. Exercise 13 is called single leg kick. It's an exercise that works on pelvic trunk and scapular stability, but this time in extension rather than in so much flexion. Unfold your mat and position yourself on your front. Have your elbows just below your shoulders and clasp your fingers together, pressing your forearms into your mat. Have your legs close together and use your abdominals so that your pelvis is lifted up off the floor. You'll maintain this position, shoulders down, as you exhale and bring your heel towards your hip. For some people, this may be uncomfortable for their knees, So in that case, you can use a towel or a foam cushion and place them below your knees here. A common error in this position is to let the ribs splay forward here. Instead, use your entire abdominal wall as well as your intercostal muscles and collect your ribs in, that kind of tubular containment principle again. You will also keep a significant amount of tone in these cheeks here, your lower gluteal muscles and your hamstrings.
Exercise 14, called double leg kick, involves trunk and hip extension. You'll be on your front.
And turn your head to one side so you can rest your cheek against the mat.
Clasp the fingers of one hand with the fingers of the other and place your hands in the small of your back. Widen between your shoulder blades, aiming your elbows in the direction of the mat. Bring your legs quite close together and activate your abdominals again to draw your navel in and up to meet the back of your waist. So now your belly button won't quite be touching the floor. Lift it off the floor just a bit. Inhale. As you exhale, press your pubic bone into the mat and draw your heels in the direction of your hips 3 times. Inhale. Lengthen your legs, lengthen your arms, draw your shoulder blades together, and bring your upper spine up off the mat. Now turn your head to the other side and repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Throughout this exercise, you're keeping quite a bit of tone in your lower gluteal muscles and in your hamstrings.
Exercise 15 was called by Joseph Pilates neck pull. It works on spine articulation in flexion, and we'll do several variations of it. Lie on your back. Legs extended, arms by your side. Place your hands at the base of your skull to support your neck here, and have your legs about hip joint width apart and extended. Inhale, exhale, lower your shoulders away from your ears and funnel your ribs in the direction of your pelvis. This is a very challenging exercise, so it's best to set it up well. Inhale and take the longest possible arc to bring your head, neck, and upper shoulders off the mat. Now flex your feet, send your heels out towards the wall below you, and on this exhalation, curl forward, lengthening through your legs, keeping your elbows wide open, and roll right forward, nose in the direction of your tailbone. Inhale, lengthen your whole spine, come up to vertical, and as you exhale, take the longest possible curve on the way down. Start the base of your pelvis, lift right up this way, and roll down your spine, widening across your back and dropping your ribs through, widening and dropping here, widening and dropping all the way down. Inhale, relax your ankles. Exhale. Inhale to come up. Exhale. Inhale to lengthen your whole torso. From here, move your whole torso up and back to vertical. And again, take the longest possible curve on the way down, reaching out through your heels, drawing in up here, and widening across the back of your waist to come all the way down. It's just fine to take the same help, the same assistance that you did in the roll-up, so you can bend both knees, take your palms on the backs of your thighs, help yourself up here, then recover your position. Take this whole shape on the way up, help yourself down this way, and come back. Really far more important in each of these exercises to make whatever modifications you feel comfortable with in order to assist in the smooth articulation of your spine. Because accurate practice right off the bat, up front, will help make your progress go more quickly. If you really must take a more advanced version of the neck pull, use a pole and use it like so. Have the pole in front of your elbows and your hands behind your head. This will ensure that your elbows stay wide open to the side. And then the same rules apply, just only more so. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, let your whole pelvis drop down onto the mat. Let your lowest ribs drop down onto the mat. And using that sense of leverage, exhale and curl forward. All the way over this way. Lengthen your spine from the base of your tailbone up through the top of your head, and then lengthening through your heels, take the longest possible curve on the way down. This exercise that I just finished is extremely challenging, so please master the other variations thoroughly before you attempt this one with the pole. Exercise 16 is known as side kick. On your side, you'll work on pelvic trunk and scapular stability. It looks like this. Align yourself on your side on your mat. It's as if you were going to be balancing on a ruler's edge with your palm in front of your lowest ribs on the mat. Lean forward onto your front hand and let your head rest on your upper arm. Pike slightly at your hip joint so that you bring both legs a little bit forward from the center axis from your hip joints. Now you're in an implied triangle position here. As you exhale, lift your ribs and your waist up off the mat and slide your upper elbow in just slightly, so you can rest the side of your skull on your palm. You'll be resting on the part of your arm that is the flat part just above your elbow, not on the point of your elbow. Here you are, leaning forward onto your front hand. Now your top leg is going to hover parallel to the floor, in line with your hip joint. As you exhale, flex your top foot, draw your toes towards your knee, and from your hip joint, moving from your hip joint, you're going to sweep this leg forward parallel to the floor. Now lengthen through your foot and take the longest possible stretch through your leg, inhaling on the way back. Flex your foot, exhale to come forward. Point and inhale to go back. Several things are important here. One, that you keep your torso steady. It neither falls back when your leg goes forward, nor falls forward when your leg goes back. This may look like a leg exercise in which we value the sweep of the leg, but actually the leg is just moving to challenge the torso to stay in one place. Rather like Alice in Wonderland, you have to work very hard to stay in the same place. Exhale forward. Inhale. Now from right here, as you take your leg back, it's as if you're going to zip up from your pubic bone to your navel, drawing your pubic bone up underneath your rib cage here. So when your leg goes back, it's because you're getting additional stretch at the front of your hip flexors here, rather than distorting your low spine to take your leg back. Zip up here. Exhale to come forward. Inhale to go back. To take this for a further challenge, take your front hand off the mat, and put it on the side of your skull. Then the same rules apply, but as usual, only more so. Exhale and bring your leg forward. Expect not to come so far this time. Lengthen through your whole leg and then take your leg back, drawing your ribs and pelvis in connection here. Lengthen through your whole leg. Bring your heel forward in space. Lengthen through that leg again and take your leg back. Practice this exercise on both sides.
Exercise 17 is called swimming. In this exercise, you work on trunk and hip strengthening in extension. Arrange yourself on your front. Lengthen your arms in front of you and lengthen your legs below. You can have your forehead on the mat here or just slightly off. Inhale. As you exhale, lengthen your right arm and your left leg so much that they hover just barely off the floor. In addition to this arm and leg movement, which you can see easily, add to your exercise the idea that you're lifting your navel up off the floor to meet the back of your waist. So if you were fingerprinting with your torso, there wouldn't be any paint underneath your navel on the mat. Exhale, one arm and the opposite leg hover just off the mat. What we're interested in here is length, not height. Lower them, inhaling. Exhale, lengthen your left arm and your right leg so much so that they hover just off the mat. Someone's pulling your leg and pulling your arm. Inhale to come down. Exhale, shoulders descend, your limbs reach out. Now you're going to switch, switch, and switch. When you do this, minimize the amount of side-to-side roll of your pelvis. Instead, keep your ribs and your pelvis steady and move your limbs from their respective joints, always lengthening out before you come up, lengthening out before you come up. Now, rhythmically, the original exercise of swimming actually has a different pace, a different rhythm here. And we would start with one leg and the opposite arm up, and then go like so. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. If you wish, you can lengthen your breath phrase. Exhale. Inhale. And as you go, you continually renew your abdominal strength, lifting your navel up off the mat to meet the back of your waist. Again, after you finish this one, you can curve your spine in the opposite direction and sit your heels, hips, over your heels. Exercise 18 is called leg pull front. This is a total body strength and stability exercise in which you use hip extension. It looks like this. You'll have your palms on the mat just below your shoulders and press through your heels. What we're interested in here is having your entire torso in one long diagonal from your heels out through the top of your head. Now, maintaining the position of your pelvis in space, you will, as before, lengthen your leg so much so that it hovers off the ground without disrupting the position of your pelvis. And then bring your leg back down. Inhale, exhale, lengthen through your leg, and hover off the floor, keeping your pelvis steady. Just as the side kick exercise, this requires a fair amount of stretch in your hip flexors as well as strength in your hip extensors. So it's a combination exercise like many of these total body strength exercises are. Let's look at it again. Line yourself up, hands underneath your shoulders. Keep your elbows just slightly bent,
Don't let them lock into hyperextension. Press your shoulder blades down your back. Use tone in your cheeks, in your gluteals. And renewing all of those in addition to your center strength, lengthen this whole leg to come up and off the floor, keeping your hip bones level. Exhale, reach out, lengthen through the back top of your head, so from toes out through the back top of your head. Come down and rest. Now exercise 18, the leg pull front, and exercise 19, leg pull, are the only two closed kinetic chain exercises in this series. In this closed chain position, you have your palms weight bearing in contact with a stable surface, and also you have your feet weight bearing in contact with a stable surface. The majority of exercises we've done to date are open kinetic chain exercises that are very good for pelvic strength and torso stability, but they don't go that extra stage of conditioning which the closed kinetic chain option offers you. So for the leg pull, you'll be with your back to the floor. Position your hands also below your shoulders, but on the mat. But in this case, you can arrange your arms and wrists for the position that's best for your shoulders and least stressful for your wrists. That's an individual choice here. Then lengthen your whole torso again to this position, this long diagonal position from your feet out through the top of your head. Now, maintaining this position of your torso, you will, and your pelvis, you will lift one leg off the mat and bring it back down, stabilize, and then the other leg comes off the mat and come down. This exercise requires that you use a lot of hamstring strength and gluteal strength in order to keep your pelvis steady in space. With the breathing, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and last time, inhale, and rest. Exercise 20, called the seal, is another rolling exercise that's a little more fun because you have the opportunity to challenge yourself with your momentum, and catch it right at the arc of the movement. Position yourself at the front edge of your mat. Wrap your elbows behind your knees and your hands, your fingers lightly touching the tops of your feet. Roll back here so that you're hovering just above the mat with your toes. Have your knees just wider than your shoulders. We're not interested in a big spread here, but a rather contained angle. Lift your lower abdominals in and up to meet the back of your waist, and take this longest possible curve with your neck, aiming your gaze probably at your feet. You can also try aiming your gaze at your lower abdominals. As you exhale, deepen the curve, the contraction of your lower abdominals and your low spine, and that will give you just the amount of momentum you need to roll up to a shoulder stand. Exhale. Clap your feet together 3 times, and inhale, come forward. Clap, clap, clap. Exhale, widen between your shoulder blades. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now, to control your momentum, you're using the muscles at the base of your pelvis and your abdominals, like 3 hands clasping. And then, to come back up, you let your hips drop to the mat and give extra strength here with your abdominals. widening the back of your waist and between your shoulders as you go, and coming forward. It would be ideal here to maintain the distance between your heels and your pubic bone constant throughout the rolling exercise. Take a moment to reflect on your progress. Throughout your continuing practice, value precision of alignment and control of smooth, flowing movement that supports and lengthens your entire body. I'm Elizabeth Larkam, wishing you a balanced body for a balanced life.